Welcome into a new edition of Raise High at GW from the Tin Tabernacle Club here at the Smith Center in Foggy Bottom with men's basketball coach Chris Caputo. I'm Kevin Burke. We're not in St. Thomas anymore, so I guess we gotta bring it back home, I guess. But how you doing? A fun week on the road so far.
Yeah, it was, road wins are hard to come by, and we sort of learned it in both ways, right?
Yeah.
You go to American and, don't play particularly great, but give yourself a chance to win. And then, they make a shot to tie the game going overtime. You lose that game. It's heartbreaking. And then you got to, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, go right down to Old Dominion, which has, been a very difficult place for people to play throughout the years and get a great, hard-fought quality win. It's a good prep for going into league play where you have very difficult road games, sometimes back-to-back, and you got to be able to figure out a way to, as they say, come out of there 50% is pretty good. You'd like to win both, but the old college basketball, win your home games and win 50% of your road games, you're in great shape.
So far, so good. With the Old Dominion game, we'll start there. The bounce back the team was looking for, because that's a tough way to lose at American on Wednesday. What did you think about the response from the team on Saturday?
Yeah, the response was good, and I think everybody, their emotional commitment to moving past the disappointment and to another opportunity. For most competitors, you lose that game, whatever time it is. If it's 10 o'clock at night, you'd like to play another game at midnight if you could, And so that game really couldn't come too soon. And it was good that we got to play that Saturday game. We weren't like waiting, 2 weeks or something because of finals to play another game.
For sure. And then you get a performance like Christian Jones coming off the bench, who's been tremendous. You talked about it before the season. He was the biggest surprise in camp from your perspective, especially coming off a red shirt. But to see him perform like that had to be...
Yeah, we've had a lot of faith in what he can be as a player. And while, he's not younger in terms of age, we felt like just from a physical maturity standpoint, he was a little bit behind. And that's where the redshirt year really benefited him. And now you're starting to see he's physically competing. He's top 10 in the country in steal rate. Like, he really is an active defender with long arms. He shot a reasonably good percentage from three. And he's got some gifts that, you almost can't teach. And so I think as the season goes on, he's going to get better and better.
And for second true road game, he's out there and the game's being decided in the last couple minutes, guarding their best player.
Yep.
Something to get him out there. How about on the other end? You have a guy like Gerald Drumgold Jr., fourth school, 6 years, been through so many things, consistently scoring double digits for you. Had the big game in the Virgin Islands to finish things off, but really performed well at ODU as well.
Yeah, I think the big thing with Gerald is, we've really asked him to defensively, become more focused and conscious of that. And a lot of times I think when a guy who's been a good scorer, shooter, is asked to focus on the defensive end, there's a little bit of a gap where he's spending so much time thinking about that and getting better at it and giving a lot of effort that sometimes he doesn't, offensively, it takes some time to understand that I got to do both. And now I think you're starting to see where his defensive effort has raised tremendously, and you'll start to see his offense find its level and settle in, and you get both, and now you're going to get a much better player.
It'll peak hopefully right in time for conference play. Going back to American, I know you tweeted this out this week. The Big Five in Philly, you want like a DC
controversial tweet. I try not to do that, but
no. But the importance of playing a team like American and being okay with, we're going to go play there and they're going to come here next year.
Yeah, we did Howard our first year here. Certainly, we play Mason every year in the league. Certainly open to play in Georgetown and Maryland. I understand that every school has their own situation as it relates to their schedule and what it looks like for their program, and even what it looks like for their program at that particular time where their program is. Here as we're building this versus maybe a team that's a little bit more established or a brand new coach in his first year. I think for me, looking at what's gone on in Philly and how they've changed the system where it's more of a pod system and they're playing it all at Wells Fargo. And then thinking about the history of the DMV basketball, not just the idea that we have a pro franchise that I think is going to get better and better. Not just the idea that we have greatest high school basketball programs in the country across the board. But the idea that there's history in college basketball here. You got multiple teams have been in the Final Four. Multiple teams have won national championships. Teams have been in the top 10 of the country, Sweet 16s, NCAA tournament appearances. And so how do we leverage that to create an incredible product for our community? Maybe do some good charity work and bring people together and be really connected as a basketball community, college basketball community. So I don't have all the answers. I'm not that smart. But I think that maybe just raising a little bit of a conversation about it would be good.
Get the conversation. I know there was a tournament here for many years that GW took a part in that was right down the street of the Verizon
And did
Center.
a lot of charity work, which was great.
Be a great way to figure things out. All right, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to actually talk with Trey Moss, and then we're going to come back and get more thoughts on some newcomers that are coming to the program here in a couple years. That's next year on Race High at GW.
So yeah, outrage is trending. Our feed's stirring us up, splitting us up. What if we came out from behind our walls and keyboards just for a sec and just go yard, front yard? Come out bagging, jumping, check on that Johnsonville feed. Let our individual flavors blend together. Yes, block nobody, block party. Keep it juicy.
We're back, and we have Trey Moss here, who has been off to a great start. You've had quite a journey.
Yep.
Florida, Orlando, go to South Florida, William and Mary. But now you're in the big city. Washington, D.C., working your way north, playing for Chris Caputo, great offensive coach. How's your transition been?
Man, it's been a journey, highs and lows, but my transition to GW has been great so far, actually. On and off the court, it's been really good. Just I can't complain.
My favorite play already was you went 94 feet, tapped the guy from behind that led to a dunk on the other end in the first game. You play both ends of the court. We know you can shoot off the catch. Now you're starting to put the ball on the floor a little bit. Tell us about what Coach Caputo and his staff, what's the difference without casting aspersions on the other staffs? What's been so great about being here offensively?
They just really believe in me. They just instill a lot of trust in me, a lot of belief to just go out there and just do it every night and just be an everyday guy. Just in practice, off the court, and on the court.
Yeah, because you're a leader here. And the transfer thing has changed because you've gone to different schools, and everybody does that. But GW, the A-10, high-level play, different atmosphere, tough league coming up. But you seem comfortable out there already. Can you tell us about, here's my thing. You and Sean, of course, are transfers, and Drumgold from Delaware, with a lot of starts.
Yeah.
You've walked out and started Division I basketball for many years. How does that translate for you three, and then are you helping the young guys?
Well, I be trying to instill into the young guys, it's just basketball at the end of the day. We got to go out there. We're competing against grown men every night. Doesn't matter what team you play, what jersey it is. So we just got to go out there and just do what we do and execute.
The Atlantic 10, Duquesne, Dayton win some games last year in the NCAA. 4 teams go to the NIT. Right now, projections, it's early, but 3 or 4 teams going to the NCAA. Was that a factor when you came to George Washington?
Yes, that's always been, a dream of mine to play in a tournament, play amongst the big guys, win games in the postseason.
Tell us about what are you studying?
Psychology.
Well, you'll be busy for a long time. That's good, especially in the sports world. You come to GW, it's a different transition from Florida, et cetera. William and Mary's more rural. Have you gone out in the city? Have you gone to the monuments? Tell us your thoughts on Washington, D.C. as a city.
I've done a good bit of exploring.
Oh, good for you.
I've seen some of the, city parts like DuPont, the Monument, U Street, things like that. I've seen places like the Wharf, just try to get out and just meet new people and just connect.
No, I know the team is very happy to have you here. You can tell the first time I met you, I didn't even know who you were. We were just chatting. It was during that. Coach Caputo has an NBA camp, sort of it's a professional camp for older guys. It's a really good time because the kids get to coach, the players get to coach, everybody's all in one. And I was impressed immediately by your sense of personality. It's not all basketball with you. Tell us about your other side besides basketball.
Well, there's a lot, there's more, oh my bad. There's more to life than basketball, You got to find the joy in the little things to, excel your play on the court. So that's what I try to do, just find joy in being around people, find joy in just, sharing a laugh with people, just little things.
Lastly, You're going to play overseas at some point. Obviously the NBA, G League, we don't try to box you in on where you can play, but basketball is a global sport. Being in DC, do you feel do you feel how different this whole atmosphere is? Even GW itself in this, 3 or 4 block radius, there's 50 countries being touched at all times. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed the international flavor
Yeah,
here?
it's very diverse. I really like it. It's just great to, meet new people and just learn more about other cultures,
No, exactly. It's a global world, and you're right in the middle of it. Basketball-wise, Jacoy can play the point, of course, and you can slide over. You're a combination guy. I want to get your thoughts on playing with a guy like June Buchanan's one of my favorite players, not just because I covered GW in the country. I also cover the Wizards. I do NBA. I had a game, a couple games in the past month. It's positionless basketball. Tell us about your thoughts on June Buchanan. Like, how is it every day in practice with him, et cetera?
Well, he's a mismatch nightmare. He's a load. You know what I'm saying? You've seen it.
He can guard it.
Yeah, he can guard 1 through 5. You got to guard him. He's shooting the ball better from deep. It's gonna be difficult.
Exactly. And lastly, the other transfers. Do you tell, like Castro, this is his first time transferring? Do you ever run in and be like, since you transferred to William and Mary, do you ever take them aside and say, hey, there's going to be some different, Sean, this is his first time. You've been through this. Tell us lastly about that.
Well, I just talked to the guys like there's gonna be some highs and some lows. We just gotta keep it even kill. We gonna get hit. How we gonna shake back? How we gonna face the adversity? Just we know we could hoop. We've been doing this our whole lives. Just stick to the format, stick to the plan. We're gonna be good.
Love your energy. A good man. We'll be
Appreciate
back.
it. Thank
There's
you
more
for
Raise High at GW.
Gas prices got you fuming? No need to get heated. Save time and money with Metro. Ride, save, explore. Metro.
We're back here on Raise High at GW with Coach Caputo. We just heard from Trey Moss. He's had some great games to start the season, some breakaway dunks. What have you liked from him so far?
Yeah, his effort level is he's just got such a big motor, athletic player. He's getting better and better defensively. His attitude's been great. He's just a fun guy to be around. And, we need a little bit of a burst of athleticism, and he gives it.
I don't think you've seen a guy on this team that dives on the floor more than he does.
He's just very, very hard playing guy. And I think we're playing very hard, I think, as a group, and he's really one of the guys that's kind of the catalyst of that.
All right, now changing gears here to some guys that you just signed last month. Let's take a look at DC's own Jalen Rougier-Roan out of Sidwell Friends.
Jalen Rougier-Roan from Sidwell Friends, outstanding program, nationally recognized. A DC guy that says, I'm not going to go away and then come back to you. I'm coming to you right away.
Yeah, I mean, you want to recruit the DC area. I mean, that's one of the things when you're at these type of jobs in our area, Jim, like when you guys at Maryland, when I was at George Mason, you want to recruit the best players in DC. I think Jalen is certainly one of those guys. Also, again, from a great school in Sidwell, great program. So excited about his shooting, excited about his experience internationally. He played for the Canadian national team in his age group. So, a guy who's, highly, highly regarded, and I think fits in the mold of, shooting and positional size.
Did June and Jacoy influence that? Does he talk to them and say?
Yeah, I mean, I think those guys have seen success. We've played a lot of guys from this area. They've gotten their opportunities here, and so, again, sticking with the idea that we want to recruit the best players in this area, I think Jalen's one of them.
Well done, good job.
So Jalen, a DC guy, another one local kid coming to DC.
Yeah, I mean, excited to get a guy from this area who's one of the best players in this area. I think when you recruit this area, there's so many good players. You want to get your share. Watching Jalen, really when I first got here, first spring, summer, and watching some younger guys, I thought he was the hardest playing guy in the area. He's had some injuries that have set him back a little bit, but his shooting, his positional size, and how hard playing he is. He comes from a basketball family. His parents played. Mom played in the A-10 at Temple. Just we were excited to even get the opportunity to get close in his recruitment, and then we're able to get him. I think he's going to be a really good player here. And the Sidwell Friends thing helps. We got some board members that went to Sidwell. Mark Chichester, I got to give him a shout out. Sidwell guy. So excited to get a local guy here and a guy who's a really good player.
And your other freshman coming in next year, Vinny Chowdhury. Let's learn more about him.
National Signing Day coming here. We have Vincent, my friend from Riverside, Northfield Mount Hermon.
Yeah.
We're going to sign him?
Yeah, you saw him a lot, Jimmy. Vincent's really talented young player, young to the game, 6'8", long. One of those long, thin guys who can shoot it, who's got a big upside, big potential, high academic. Really excited about him. You saw him a lot on the Under Armour circuit.
So Vinny Chowdhury going a little bit out of the DMV, but what do you like about him?
Yeah, Vincent's like a big upside guy. He's 6'8", shoots the ball. He's thin. As he gets stronger, he's hard playing. I think his best basketball is way ahead of him. He's a guy who, one of those guys that jumped out on the AAU circuit in terms of just his shot-making ability at his size. And so, again, you have to balance the transfer portal, which we all know is super important, with some homegrown, really talented young players. Both of these guys have positional size and shooting, which is so important.
What's your pitch to these guys then? Because it is different when, freshman versus transfer portal. What's the pitch in the living room? Are you still going to living rooms?
Right. Not going to as many living rooms as we used to, that's for sure. Yeah, I think everybody's is on their own path individually as players. And, it's all about trying to help them get better, making sure they understand that we want them to get a degree from GW because we understand how valuable that is. And then, helping us bring the program back to where it was for 25 years, the winning and what comes with that for everyone involved. I've been a part of, 2 different programs, Final Fours, Elite Eights, conference championships, and everyone benefited. Everyone in the program benefited. Everyone that worked there benefited. And so, that's sort of the pitch. And at the end of the day, I think we've got a good enough track record with guys individually that say, hey, guys, get better here. They get maximized as players. It's a great environment to be in. This is an incredible university and a once-in-a-lifetime location. So, those things I think can set us apart. And as we continue to build the program forward and we're winning at a high level, you're not going to be able to poke many holes in us.
And the benefits on your end may be a little bit delayed. We talk about a guy like Rafael Castro. You recruited him when you were at Miami, and now 3 or 4 years later, here he is playing for you.
Yeah, you have a good base of who they are as people. They evolve as players. So what Rafael Castro was when he was 17, 18 years old is much different than what he is now. But you know who they are as people. You know their families. You know their upbringing. And you know if that's the type of character that you want in the building, which is so important. Talent is tremendously important. And all those intangible qualities, though, are just as important. And so in Rafael's case, we knew he was a great guy when we started the second recruiting of him.
You never know. All the roads come back here to Foggy Bottom. You never know if you talk to somebody now where they may end up in 3 or 4 years in this day and age. Coach, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk again soon. All right, when we come back, Caroline McCombs from the women's program joins us here on Raise High at GW.
Raise high, revolutionaries. This is our calling. For more than 200 years, in the heart of the nation's capital, the George Washington University has produced leaders on the global stage. At GW, we are advancing knowledge, serving society, and making an impact. We shape the future. We make history. So rev up, expand your world, ignite your passion, strive for success. Together, we raise high.
Welcome back to Raise High at GW, joined now by women's basketball head coach Caroline McCombs. Coach, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Ready to go. Let's talk some more women's basketball here. We just talked with Coach Caputo about the importance of playing some DMV teams. He wants a whole tournament. We'll talk about that later. But you go to American on Tuesday. It's important for you guys. You went to Howard earlier this year to play your local teams.
Yeah, absolutely. We're heading into finals, and it's always a good time of year, holidays. But playing locally, it's always great competition. So just being able to go down the road and have a good game, competitive team as well, and just want to defend the district.
Yeah, it helps to have a road game where you get to sleep in your own beds too, right? Like from a program perspective, okay, we're just going to go to American and we'll be back home after the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, this time of year as well. It's just an easy road game. So excited about that opportunity to get on somebody else's home court close by.
You mentioned it. Finals are going on right now. This is a difficult time for student athletes. You got a lot of young players on your team that haven't gone through finals. What's it like as a coach trying to balance finals versus trying to schedule a game right about now without having to go 2 weeks without a game.
Sure, yeah, you try to plan that stuff a year in advance so you don't always know looking at that calendar, but just making sure they have the time that they need academically to prepare. Those couple days are going to be heavier days, right? And then, you want to have good practices, and I think it's always good when you are stressed out, because you have exams coming up, that you're still working out, whether that's just in the weight room, getting some extra shots up. I think all those things, taking care of yourself this time of year is really important.
Yeah, and they're probably like, please get me on the basketball court. I'm tired of taking finals here, especially at a place like GW. A couple weeks ago, you opened up A10 play, kind of a quirky schedule. A couple teams play A10 games early. But you saw the strength of the league with George Mason, who's a bubble team as of now, took Maryland to the wire. What have you seen from Mason or perhaps the entire A10 that's pretty strong at the top this year?
Definitely. I mean, the top teams have a lot of veteran players back, so you kind of know that going in. They compete at a high level. They're ready to play. And so we saw that from George Mason, And so I think for us, with 9 new players and some freshmen that are logging some good minutes, just figuring out, what that looks like, even for our veteran players. This is the competition in the league. And so I think, we have to learn from that experience. I know that we will, and just help us prepare for the rest of the month.
We've talked about you get to sleep in your own bed, but sometimes it is nice to get away, and you guys will get to go away here. You get to go to Miami right before Christmas, play a couple games. There is a benefit for that once finals are done here to just go ahead and let's go play basketball in a nice warm location for a couple days.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I always want to take our team, on a nice trip. So being able to head out there, have 2 competitive games, Miami of Ohio and Hampton. So just looking forward to, celebrating the holidays with our team, spending it, on the road and obviously competing to get 2 wins.
Get another MAC team on the schedule. I like the quirkiness of playing Miami of Ohio and Miami, Florida. It's some fun things with that. But we talked about, Coach, with recruiting here. We want to introduce your freshman class. You got 3 freshmen that you signed last month. Let's start with Mia James out of Georgia and what she's going to bring to the program.
Yeah, Mia, or MJ, as we like to call her. She's a really good point guard. She's a floor leader. She's a winner. Her team is one of the top in the nation. They compete nationally every year. They win the state tournament, state championships. So somebody that we want as a floor leader, floor general, just can knock down the 3, has the ball in her hands, plays with a lot of really good players as well. And so just being able to compete at a high level is something that we really value.
You always can use more point guards. Well, you'll take that for sure. How about CeCe Thompson, comes to us from Texas?
Yeah, CeCe plays for Lady Drive, out of Dallas area. Again, she's kind of that 3-4 kind of tweener, shoots the 3, elite rebounder, athletically. I think will be very good for us in the league, just being able to, guard multiple players.
And last but certainly not least, Peyton Doolin comes from Long Island to join the program.
Yeah, Peyton plays with Exodus in the summertime. Again, Tam Catapano, a great high school coach, so she's going to have had, good coaching. They win state titles as well. She kind of plays the 1 or the 2, so on or off the ball, again, good defender, but facilitator, can, again, get us into our offense.
How about the fact that you have your 3 coming in? You got Georgia, you got New York, you got Texas, you have, Gabby came from Michigan this year. What's that like recruiting style to just, you're going to find the best players regardless of where they are?
Yeah, I think, a winning mentality, championship teams. I think all that pedigree, really helps because that's expectation, when they come in here, and they're just doing all the little things. So, we've gone outstretch our wings, to find the right fit. And I think those 3 really fit us.
There we go. The next 3, and I'm sure there will be more with the transfer portal coming up. We don't want to think about too far in the season, but the 3 that are signed here for next year. Coach, appreciate the time. Enjoy Miami for us, all right?
Thank you. We will.
All right. That does it for this episode of Raise High at GW. We'll talk to you again soon here from Foggy Bottom.
The Atlantic 10 by the numbers. 15 universities, 23 sports. A 91% graduation rate honoring the academic achievement of more than 4,500 student athletes. One conference united by diversity, powered by commitment. The A10 is building countless champions in athletics and preparing scholars for life. Great people, great places, extraordinary opportunities, too numerous to count. This is the A10.
Make your trip monumental. Sightsee through DC without overspending on gas and ride shares. Experience DC the local way. Ride, save, explore. Metro.